This is the dawn of a new era in British karting. Over 550 drivers in 12 classes competing for victory over 18 race weekends. This is the Motorsport UK British Kart Championships. The Rotax season continues at the picturesque Glan-Y-Gors circuit in North Wales, and in Rotax 177 it could be a good weekend for plucky privateer Nathan Chafer, who'll be aiming to challenge the frontrunners at the fourth weekend of 2019.
This is my first year in a major championship. Been karting for 13 years now. It's been tough up the top, racing against the teams like DHR, KR, the likes of them. It's tough to keep up with them, but we're doing our best as a privateer. At Connors, really, I haven't got any teammates and it's hard. I'm fighting for myself on the track and it's very difficult. And last time I drove here was 10 years ago. We've just done one test day coming up to this round and we seem really fast. The best bit about this track is the main straight up to the top of the hill. I love that flat right-hander, it's really good. So we entered the championship and we just won it. We just keep doing it bit by bit, and at the minute we're running third overall. So hopefully I'm going to get a top 5 this year.
Nathan Chafer on pole position from Michael Cheek, then Louis Large and Chris Thomas, Zanetti on the third row from Desira, then Oliver Davis, Whaley and Beecroft. This should be an absolute flyer here at Glan-Y-Gors Park, and away we go. First corner, no problem at all for Michael Cheek as he blasts into the lead. Look at that, as they go up the Dragon Straight, he's already got an absolutely fantastic advantage as they come up the hill to the spoon, and under braking, Chafer's able to get a little bit closer. So this could be a very interesting battle. Louis Large finally having a good weekend. He's had a bit of a tricky start to the 2019 campaign, and he is in third position, the reigning champion for Persistence Motorsport. Not a bad start from Zanetti. He's still in the mix as they go down through to Devil's Elbow. And this is going to be a really exciting race. I can feel it already as we're going to have an absolutely splendiferous battle between these guys up at the front end. They come out of the final corner and across the line. No problem at all for our race leader. Michael Cheek has already got himself into a good rhythm. So it's Cheek from Chafer. Then it is Large, Zanetti, Thomas, Luke Oliver, Whaley and Jamie Desira from Beecroft and the 70 of Colin Davis. So up into the hairpin. Oh dear, Louis Large getting very close under braking into the spoon hairpin there as they go down Damon Hill and up into the left hand of the carousel. They will go up the hill. So this is going to be an interesting dynamic because Cheek has still got a bit of an advantage over Chafer. Whoops, that was a bit of a moment further back from Tim Darlow. He just ran a little bit wide there out of the carousel. So they drop down through this long flowing combination of corners in through Devil's Elbow. It's a brave driver that goes for an overtake at this section of the course, and then out of Paddock Bend into Club Corner to start a new lap. 13.5 on the clock. Oliver making a move past Thomas. Desira getting the same move on Charlie Whaley as they come up the hill again. Is this going to be in the move from Chafer? There's not a lot of room, and he's got up the top of him. Oh dear, both of them have gone wide. So Cheek is down the order, Chafer's down the order. Nathan Chafer trying to get himself into the lead of the race. He mounts the back. Let's have a look. He's just gone too deep into the corner, rolls off the back of Cheek's kart, and that's Louis Large through into the lead. So Large is now your leader. Zanetti is right behind him in second place, and they're battling away. Oh dear, Matteo, how close do you want to get to the reigning champion? They roll off of Devil's Elbow, down the drop and in through Paddock Bend. And he's up the inside. Is this going to be the move? Yes, it is. Not quite. Zanetti having got through. And Louis Large manages to get the move straight back again. So these two are battling away big style. And is Zanetti going to have an opportunity this time to get through on Louis? Oh, he's done it. My word, he's actually done it. So a brilliant run from Zanetti. I didn't realise he'd got him on the way up the hill. So an absolutely fantastic performance from Matteo Zanetti. He really does deserve a good result. And it looks as though he's going to get one. So Luke Oliver is now all over the back of Louis Large as he tries to make his way through. Is he going to get an opportunity here? You can see the comparative gaps between the drivers, and you can see that Oliver is incredibly close to the back of Louis Large now, but Zanetti, having got through into the lead of the race, is going to have an opportunity to get away in Scarpa. Has he got a problem with the front fairing? That would be devastating for Zanetti if that's the case, because he's got himself into the lead and he's got an absolutely heroic run. I wonder, has he just got a little bit of an issue there with the front fairing? It looks a tiny bit loose to me, as Michael Cheek gets a new fastest lap in, 42.95. They come up out of the hill. Louis Large running a good race. There's Luke Oliver. Michael Cheek has got straight back into the action. Cheek is there in 4th position. 5th is Whaley. Then it's Beecroft Davis, the E-plate of Cole Edwards. And then rounding out the top 10, it is the 5. That is Alexander Luck, just in front of Joe Bleakley as they battle all the way through the field. You can see some great overtaking moves through this field as people signal to them to the first corner. Through they go, and Zanetti has built up 0.6 of a second advantage on Louis Large already. But is that going to be enough to hold him off for the entirety of the race? Louis Large is not a British champion for nothing. He won the 2018 crown, of course. He's had a miserable start to his 2019 campaign. Whoa, there was a little bit of fisticuffs in the middle there. I think that was Chris Wright battling away with Ian Branfield. I want to be very careful how they go about that in the midfield. They've not had great performances this weekend in terms of qualifying pace, nor, of course, has Adam Sadler or the O-plate, James Moorcroft, for the Team Clay Racing team. So they're all trying to make good comebacks. Moorcroft is up into 11th. Wright and Branford are squabbling over 12th. That's where Nathan Schaefer currently is, down in 14th spot, in fact. And down at the back end of the field, we've got Zyra, who's dropped all the way down to the back of the field with Chris Thomas. So I didn't see what happened to those two, but they were battling away in the top 6, and now they are right down at the back. So there might be a bit of a backstory going on between those two later on in the race. I didn't see anything myself, unfortunately. Must have been looking at the timing screen at exactly the wrong moment. But there is the number 1, Louis Large, in front of Oliver and Cheek, and then Whaley and Beecroft. So Oliver closing up, trying to get all over the back of Louis Large. They drop into the compression complex and then down through to Devil's Elbow and up towards that flowing right-hander at Paddock Bend. This is such a tricky circuit to go racing on. It is the Spa-Francorchamps of British karting. I've said before that Shennington's the Monza. Well, this is the Spa-Francorchamps. It's a wonderful part of the world, this, in the heart of Wales, not far from Bala Lake. And it's great motorsport that we have here at this particular part of the world. Zanetti trying to get away from Louis Large still. Luke Oliver's got some pressure now from the championship leader, Michael Cheek, down the hill and out towards the carousel. A really good start to this race. It looks like it could have a very interesting middle half. And now Branfield has dropped all the way down the back of the field, so something's gone wrong for Ian Branfield. Not quite sure what it is, but clearly some kind of difficulty. We'll have to try and pick that one up a little bit later. But there are some difficulties through the field as a lot of drivers are actually struggling. Sadler's made good progress, though, from 22nd on the grid up to 15th, so he's getting on with it. And Wright is now up on the back of the top 10, and that's a problem for Branfield. Branfield has pulled off the circuit, so mechanical problems for Ian Branfield by the look of it, and he is out of the race. That is a real shame. Well, unfortunately, it's not going to be the Hayworth Racing Drivers' Day here at Glan-Y-Gors. Hopefully, when they go back to racing again at Clay Pigeon in Dorset, he'll have a better run. Now, that's any chance Branfield might have had of gaining big ground in the Drivers' Championship. Well and truly hammered. And there's nothing Branfield can do about that one now as they go down the drop again. Through the S's and up towards the final corner. Out of Paddock Bend and into Club Corner. Now you power on down the straight here along the Dragon Straight. Zanetti running well. Sorry for the loss of picture there for a moment, but we're back into the action. Large, Oliver, Cheek, Whaley, Beecroft, Davis and Edwards. Oh, Branfield's got going again. Now that's interesting. So Branfield has obviously allowed the whole field to go through as Thomas has made the move down at the back of the field on Tim Darlow. So those two are battling away. Some amazing quality in this Rotax 177 field here at Glan-Y-Gors Park. Some brilliant racing and some absolutely terrific battles throughout. Zanetti's pulled that gap up to 0.7 of a second now over Large. Oliver's still there in third from Cheek. Then it is Whaley. Sixth place now is Beecroft from Davis in the 70. Then it's Edwards. Alexander Luck there in ninth position, having a very solid run, but it's certainly not as competitive as he was at Mansell Raceway. And then at the O-plate, it is James Moorcroft in 10th position. So this battle for second place is definitely going to start kicking off any moment now, isn't it? Louis Large, Luke Oliver and Michael Cheek very close together. Whaley's on his own, and then Beecroft is leading in a massive train of 6th position all the way down to 13th place, all the way back to Nathan Schaefer. So that's an absolutely heroic squabble, and that could end up getting very messy as the race goes on. Now that is Matteo Zanetti knitting his way through in the lead of the race. From Large, Oliver, Cheek. Then it is Whaley, and here comes the cavalry. Beecroft, Davis, Edwards, Luck, Moorcroft. Then Bleakley, Wright and Schaefer. And then there's a bit of a gap back to the 81 of Sam Winter, with Sadler up to 15th in front of the 74 of Aaron Yao, and Branfield's been black flagged. So I wonder if there's been a mechanical transgression. Has he pulled off the circuit in an illegal fashion, or I'm not sure what it is, but Branfield has been given a black flag regardless, so he needs to come back into the pit lane, unfortunately, and that's going to be his race over. So Zanetti still motoring on, out in front of the field from Louis Large, Luke Oliver and Michael Cheek as they battle away for second place. Nick one, Pearl one through these tight apexes. And this is where you just count down the laps. Look, none of the guys for second position are really going for a big move here. Large, Oliver and Cheek, they are just counting down laps at this point. So no major catastrophes and disasters up at the front end of the field. They climb up the hill, along the Dragon Straight, up towards the Spoon Corner. Great pictures from the drone. That's a big lunge from Oliver, and he finally gets the move as they bang wheels off the turn, him and Louis Large, and Michael Cheek is going to try and make his own way through up the inside. But Zanetti is your leader for the moment, and Oliver is in second place, and Cheek is through to third. So Louis Large is the one that gets caught out there. Another showing of the black flag to Ian Branfield. That's the second lap in succession. Now, he cannot afford to do that a third time, because as my understanding of the rules is, if you ignore the black flag on 3 occasions, you'll be excluded. So Branfield is currently, I think I just saw him going through, in fact. So Branfield, trying to keep himself out of mischief, has gone through. They're going to show the black flag to him again, but Ian Branfield, I'm afraid to say, really needs to come into the pits if that's what he's been ordered to do. That's what the black flag is there for. Great tussle in the mid-pack. That was Edwards getting a little bit sideways as Alex Luck was trying to get underneath him out of the Spoon Curve and down Damon Hill, through to the carousel and up the compression complex. And Nathan Chafe has been given a warning. Now that's interesting. He's right in the mix of that battle for 6th place. He's in 12th position, so he's made the move on right. But in doing so, he must have transgressed in some way. I didn't see anything untoward, but clearly the officials have felt that Chafer was getting a little bit too eager. That's not necessarily a massive surprise, because obviously he was involved in that big incident earlier on between him and Michael Cheek. Cheek has managed to recover quite well in 3rd position. He power slides into the braking zone for the Spoon Curve, and the drivers continue to battle on. So Jamie Desira has finally made the move on Joe Fifner, and that's a lowly 17th he finds himself in. I get the feeling that Jamie Desira is going to be very frustrated, and that's the 3rd lap in a row that Ian Branfield has been shown the black flag. Well, if he doesn't pit in this time, I'm afraid they have licence really to throw the book at him here, because you've got to adhere to the rules. Whether you agree to them or not, you still have to follow the letter of the law, as Chafer makes a big lunge on the inside of Joe Bleakley. That was a nice move there for 11th position. 4 minutes to go in this Rotax 177 final, and that's an arm in the air. Now, who was that? That looked like Beecroft and Davis getting a little bit too close together. So, obviously, those two deciding to have a little bit of a conversation by wire, and Branfield is shown the black flag for the 4th consecutive lap. So, I'm afraid to say that Ian Branfield, well, he really does need to do as the officials say. You can disagree with it and argue with it all you want, but at the end of the day, the officials have shown you a black flag for a reason, so you need to adhere to it. And unfortunately, that is Ian Bradfield finally pitting in, but he's ignored it too many times. And it looks as though problems too for Taylor Adams, as he has brought the kart into the pit. And that's a real shame for Taylor Adams. His race appears to be over. As, oh my goodness, look at that at the first corner. That was Bleakley. Well, no, that was a little further up. My apologies. That was the Beecroft Davis Edwards Luck battle, and that got seriously close as they ran through together. And there's more battles going on further back, as that is now Winter making the move on the inside of Chris Wright as they come out of the Spoon Curve. This is an epic tussle. We've got Beecroft in 6th, then Davis, Edwards, Luck, and James Moorcroft. I nearly said Joe Moorcroft. I was getting confused with Joe Bleakley, who's behind Nathan Chafer. Sorry, boys. Answers on a postcard for what to do to me afterwards, but a brilliant battle in the midfield. An absolutely sensational run. Jamie Desira trying to close up on Aaron Yao to make up a move. Only 2.5 minutes left of this one. And there's still quite a lot to be said here at Glan-Y-Gors Park amongst the drivers. They are still battling away heroically. But there's some really tough racing going on here. Meanwhile, out in front, Matteo Zanetti has pulled out a gap to the tune of 3.1 seconds over the rest of the field. Now, if he's got a loose front fairing, which I fear he might do, which is absolutely catastrophic if that's the case, he needs to pull out a gap of 5 seconds over the rest of the field. in order to guarantee that even if he does get a penalty, he won't lose the victory. He's doing the best he can. He's up to 3.3 seconds the lead, but with 2 minutes to go, he needs to find at least another 1.6 seconds, really. 1.7 seconds, I should say, in order to get that gap above 5 seconds, because that's the only way, really, of guaranteeing victory. He's up to 3.5. He's got to hope that these three really start duelling, and Michael Cheek has been sat there in third position waiting for his moment. If they do start duelling away for position, they're going to cost each other time, and that's where you're going to make the advantage count. The drivers come through up the top of the hill, up through the compression complex once again, and they will drop in through to Devil's Elbow. Through the left, through the right, through the left again, and then down towards Paddock Bend. Matteo Zanetti still trying to get well away from this trio. The gap has opened up again to 3.56, but he's really got to hope that they have the monumental mother of all battles up front for second position, because he needs to find another 1.5 seconds if he's going to avoid a front-fairing penalty. I don't know he's going to get one, but it certainly looks as though he might do, based on the position of the front-fairing. Now we're getting the battle. There's a minute to go, and Oliver, Cheek and Large are having an absolutely terrific dogfight for second place now, as Cheek is trying to get on the inside. They go through the compression complex, down the drop, into the left, and tucking out again for the right-hander. Cheek's going to try and get his way through Devil's Elbow, a little bit faster than Luke Oliver, to bring the car onto Paddock Bend. There's Matteo Zanetti, still trying to get far enough in front that if he does pick up a penalty, he's not going to lose the race, because it would be devastating if he had done all that hard work and it would come to nothing. In fact, he's lost time to the three on that particular lap, so Zanetti needs to keep the pace up. He needs to keep pushing as we go into the penultimate lap here at Glan-Y-Gors Park. Still a battle for second, still an absolute tussle for sixth position between Beecroft, Davis, Luck, Moore, Chafer and Edwards, who are all in the mix there. But where is there going to be the next battle? This is that battle. Beecroft, Davis, Luck, Moorcroft, and then Chafer and Edwards, who are trying to close up to the gap. And then there's a bit of a gap back to Bleakley, who's in front of Wright, Winter, Desira, Sadler. And then there's a bit of a gap back to Yao and Fifner from Chris Thomas, and Tim Darlow, who's 15 seconds back. Last lap, here we go. And Zanetti is 3.6 in front of Oliver, Cheek and Large. And this is where they're really going to start to go for the battle. Up towards the spoon. The leaders will come through. Zanetti still in touch with Oliver and Cheek. Cheek is trying to get the move on Luke Oliver down Damon Hill. Can he find the move on the inside into the carousel? No, he hasn't been able to get close enough. Zanetti's on the run to the flag, and this battle for sixth position is going to get quite spicy if we're not careful. They come up the compression complex. Zanetti's done a great job, but tragically, if he picks up a penalty, he's not done enough to dominate the victory. He comes out of the final turn. Hopefully there'll be no penalty, but he gets the victory regardless over the line as the drivers come through. Oliver is second in front of Cheek and Large. Well, I pray that Zanetti doesn't get a penalty, because if he does, then Luke Oliver has just won at Glan-Y-Gors from Cheek and Large. Whaley in fifth on the road from Davis, Beecroft, Luck and Moorcroft. And then Chafer rounds out the top 10 in front of the E-plate of Cole Edwards. Thrilling battle there, and some really exciting racing from Rotax 177. But for Michael Cheek, a third position on the road is absolutely critical in terms of his championship ramifications. That means he scores big compared to his championship rivals. A brilliant drive from Matteo Zanetti, very controlled, and his fingers crossed that he's not going to get penalised for his race. Oliver, Cheek and Large in behind, then Charlie Whaley, Colin Davis, James Beecroft and Alexander Luck make it a run of privateers in front of James Moorcroft and Nathan Chafer. Then Edwards and Bleakley in behind after an absolutely thrilling squabble here at Glan-Y-Gors Park. Then Wright, Sadler, Yao and Jamie Desira from Joe Feffner, Chris Thomas, Sam Winter, Tim Darlow, and then the retirees Taylor Adams and Ian Brandfield, who I'm afraid has gone a little bit of cropper with the officials today. The black flag is definitely not the most favourite flag he's seen all year. What an amazing battle. It's cruel luck for Matteo Zanetti, whose win was taken from him after a front-fairing penalty post-race. But with Luke Oliver grabbing a terrific win ahead of Michael Cheek and reigning champion Louis Large, things are tightening up with just 2 weekends remaining in the 2019 British Championship for Rotax 177.
We managed to get a fairly decent start, took the lead for the first 5 minutes of the race. Unfortunately, just weren't quite quick enough to keep the lead. I think Luke and Michael came through with about 5 minutes to go, and it was pretty much nose to tail for the last couple of laps. But really good race, very competitive, really close. Enjoyed it.
Got off to a good start, got into the lead from starting second. Had an incident with Nathan Chafer, obviously very unfortunate. I think one of those springs come off the exhaust, which made it a little bit loud, I'm not going to lie, but everything was fine. Obviously these boys come through and I was on a charge to try and catch them back up. They started battling, Luke overtook Large, so I followed through and then basically just finished that way. But yeah, it was close racing, clean and tough, so that's just the way you want it.
Yeah, we started 7th, picked up a few positions from the start, sat in 5th. Obviously Nathan and Cheek got involved in an accident which we gained from, so put us in 3rd place. Louis was 1st and Matteo was in front. Matteo got past, pulled away, and then I went in on Louis, so stuck with 2nd. Then we just stayed for 2nd for the rest of the race. These two were right up behind me, so it was a tough position to keep. Came in, unfortunate for Matteo to get the nose cone, but fortunate for me, so we came away with a win, which very happy about, very happy.